I just looked at Terence Crawford's latest video. Terence Crawford, 20 pounds of muscle, my ass. Terence Crawford looks thin as shit. And I knew that was going to happen because Terence Crawford's metabolism and its frame. You got him walking around maybe close to 180 or something like that. But as he works out, his body's going to do what it does. It's going to get lean. And I think it benefits Terence Crawford. Actually, we don't want him stepping in the ring going up to 180. I think it just hinders him, right? When Floyd Mayweather was fighting at 154, he never weighed in at 154. He weighed in at what was most comfortable for him because 154 is the limit. Terence Bud Crawford, if he gets on the scale and he doesn't weigh quite 168, I think it's actually for his benefit. What he has going for him comes with him being smaller, actually. People talk about his speed, talking about his foot speed, hand speed, talking about all those things, his reflexes and all those things. That comes from what we've seen of him from 147 south.
Jermell Charlo's explosive remarks about Canelo Alvarez have sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Charlo isn't just another fighter. He's a former champion with a long resume of battles against top contenders. So when he talks about Canelo's power, people listen. His words weren't cautious or diplomatic. They were raw, unfiltered, and a warning to anyone who dares to step into the ring with the Mexican super.
There's just guys that just have preposterous power, and Canelo is a guy that has power but is constantly working on it. There's a great clip of him working with Andy Ruiz. You know that shield, that weird hand shield they hold up for hooks?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is not for speed. This is just power, just power. He's like, don't try to be fast with this, use power. And you see him, bro, he hits so hard.
After suffering a tough loss to Canelo in 2023, Charlo was asked to describe what it felt like facing the pound-for-pound legend. His response was just 3 words: a mothering beast. For a fighter who has traded blows with some of the best in the sport, that statement carried weight. Charlo admitted he had never felt the sting of a punch quite like Canelo's, even confessing that for the first time in his career, he felt woozy. That revelation shocked many, considering Charlo's long list of high-level opponents.
I like Crawford, all right? My brother fought Canelo, not me. I like Crawford in this fight, and he get to stay big. But my brother even told me that was his mistake that he made. He thought going up in weight, I gotta get massive, I gotta get big to beat Canelo. It made him slower, it made his reflexes slower. He'll tell you himself. He didn't feel like the Jermell Charlo that y'all seen him fight Tony Harrison. Crawford, I feel like that's the same thing as happening. You want to get big to try to absorb Canelo punches and all this, but that's not, technically, that's not the Crawford that we're going to see. And then Crawford going up there to fight Canelo at 68, when he's not a 68-pounder, where's the motivation? Y'all got to think about it like
big for Crawford.
The money is good, but I don't expect Terence Crawford to be the Terence Crawford that was knocking out Gamboa, I don't expect that type of Terence Crawford.
Now the spotlight shifts as Canelo prepares for his next big challenge, a showdown in Las Vegas against Terence Crawford. Crawford is already considered one of boxing's pound-for-pound kings, and his leap from lightweight to welterweight, and now possibly super middleweight, has fans buzzing. The question isn't just whether Crawford belongs at this weight, but whether his sharp technical skills and ring IQ could expose flaws in Canelo's power-driven style.
But Jermell did give Crawford problems. I favor Canelo, not by a lot, but I do favor him. I just think that, I think the Skull fight was just a bad style. And I think Canelo was like, why force the issue? You know what I mean? I'm up. This guy's running. I'm not gonna take a chance. So I think that it was that kind of fight for Canelo. But Jermell did give Crawford problems. You know what I'm saying? And where I felt like, damn, at 54, he gave you problems. 68 is different.
Boxing analyst Corin Davis believes Crawford's mental toughness might be the X factor. Davis argues that while Canelo holds a size advantage, it may not be as decisive as many think. Crawford has carried his speed and intelligence up in weight without sacrificing agility. And those attributes could allow him to level the playing field against.
You've been in there with Crawford?
Yeah.
So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience, but then you got Crawford, got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody can do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Richardson Hitchens agrees, noting that Crawford doesn't need a knockout to win. Instead, Hitchens emphasizes Crawford's adaptability, slick movement, and high fight IQ as tools that could frustrate Canelo. If Crawford keeps the fight technical, he could neutralize Canelo's brute power and prevent him from landing the heavy shots he thrives on.
I think Terence Crawford is one of the most craftiest dudes that Canelo going to be in the ring with. Hand speed, IQ, long arms, speed, power. Switch hitter. I just think that it's gonna be something different for Canelo.
Even Mike Tyson has weighed in, and his perspective carries the weight of experience. Tyson believes Crawford's mental fortitude could be the deciding factor. Physical size matters, but Tyson insists that heart, resilience, and mindset often determine who wins the biggest fights. In his view, Crawford has the mental edge to withstand Canelo's physical dominance.
Who do you think wins that fight? Is it maybe the weight too much for Terence Crawford?
There's been men that beat people like Armstrong and McLaren and these guys. They're beating people bigger than them, 2 divisions bigger than them. It's not impossible.
Zab Judah goes even further, predicting Crawford has the tools to actually stop Canelo. Judah highlights Crawford's lightning reflexes and strategic brilliance, suggesting that his speed and intelligence could wear Canelo down as the rounds progress. In Judah's eyes, this isn't just a fight, it's Crawford's opportunity to shock the boxing world.
What about Canelo and Crawford?
Crawford. No hesitation. No hesitation.
I want to see that fight.
Big Bud. Big Bud. We're going to have to roll Canelo up. We're going to have to pack him up, baby.
But how hard is the jump from 47 to 68?
I mean, listen, it's a very big challenge. But what I said, with his skills and the way he's adapted to the size, brother, when I seen him stand toe-to-toe and side by side, I said, game over. Terence Crawford. And listen, don't be surprised if he stops him. I'm telling you.
Who?
Don't be surprised
if Canelo stops Crawford.
Terence Bud Crawford stops Canelo.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I love you. Skills pay the bills.
See that, Cody?
Skills pay the bills.
Caleb Plant offers a more balanced take. He acknowledges Canelo's experience and raw power, but reminds fans not to overlook Crawford's adaptability. For Plant, this matchup isn't just about size or skill. It's about who can push their mental toughness to the limit. That blend of attributes makes the fight unpredictable and all the more intriguing.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, closer range, outside, and he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and be able to find out firsthand.
Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith has also thrown his opinion into the mix, siding with Crawford. Smith believes Crawford's superior footwork and ability to stay light on his feet could be the key to avoiding Canelo's power shots. Since Canelo's style relies on closing distance, Crawford's movement might give him the upper hand in a technical showdown.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love boxing.
Who gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
Always prepared.
He's always ready. He's always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's going to.
Former champion Kelly Pavlik offers a word of caution, pointing out that Crawford lacks experience against naturally bigger fighters. While Pavlik recognizes Crawford's skill, he warns that stepping into Canelo's weight class is a different kind of test. Still, he believes Crawford's speed, footwork, and fight IQ could help him control the pace if he stays disciplined.
That's a tough one. Look, I like betting fights or making picks, and I'm usually pretty good on all my picks, even when I had the podcast. But sometimes, because people look for that fighter, that former world champion, and they want to pick them apart if they get it wrong. And this is one of the fights where I want to sit back and watch and not worry about my pick. Canelo is a small middleweight, super middleweight. He just is. But he's also showed that he could go up in weight class, and he's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy, too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200 probably, at light heavyweight. And Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on that because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. The guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you fight a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick. Just saying, guys.
Pavlik even suggests a tactical blueprint: apply early pressure. By pushing Canelo in the opening rounds, Crawford might drain his energy and exploit the moments when the Mexican superstar has historically shown fatigue. That strategy could set up a late-round victory, either by stoppage or a decision on the scorecards.
Stay in Canelo's ass a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. When Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance-wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in a little bit on, the early rounds and make him have to play catch-up in the rounds 3, 4, 5. And then by round 7, that's where, he could really step it up.
Tim Bradley is far more confident, dismissing concerns about Canelo's recent underwhelming performances against fighters like John Ryder. Bradley argues that Crawford's skill set is on another level. He believes Crawford can dictate the fight from start to finish, even if Canelo tries to drag it into a slugfest.
One more thing. It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right, you know. It ain't been like, you know, wow, you know, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack is clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, hey, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Victor Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think they're safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they're testing, I'm good.
Shannon Briggs also sees Crawford as the man to dethrone Canelo. Briggs, who has known Crawford since his early days, believes the Omaha native's ability to switch stances and execute technically perfect strategies will be too much for Canelo. He boldly predicts a stoppage win for Crawford.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I got Crawford by stoppage, and I known him since he was a little kid, you know, 12 years old. So to see him now fighting for a title in such a big fight, it's a great experience, great to see.
Last question for me then, how do you think Crawford stops him? How do you think he's able to work Canelo enough for him to stop the fight, drop, knock him down? How do you think this is possible by Crawford style?
He gonna box him. He can fight both ways. He gonna trick him up. You know, one thing Canelo showed is that he can be outboxed. But I think this time in the late rounds, you know, I think Crawford gonna have something for him.
Sergio Mora admits he was skeptical at first. After Crawford's less than stellar showing against William School, Mora doubted he could handle Canelo's size. But he's since softened his stance, acknowledging that Crawford's counter-punching ability and versatility could frustrate Canelo if he sticks to a disciplined game plan.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter.
At that point, but why did you believe then that was the right fight?
Because I just knew, like, as far as in that weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
Shakur Stevenson has always believed in Crawford's potential to topple Canelo. Having watched Crawford's dominant performance against Sean Porter, Stevenson argues that Crawford's combination of switching styles, high-level ring IQ, and relentless sharpness makes him the perfect opponent. Arislandi Lara, who once pushed Canelo to a split decision, adds that Crawford's best chance is to stay on the outside, use his speed, and avoid Canelo's power exchanges.
He sees it as a very interesting 50-50 fight. He feels like Canelo's very strong right now, and he wants to figure out to see how Crawford's going to handle the power, especially in the early rounds, and what's going to happen. So yeah, he said he remembers fighting Canelo back 14 years ago it is now, and he said he remembers he uses legs real good, and as long as Crawford uses his legs and he doesn't let Canelo just hit him in the arms and beat him up in the arms, he has a very good chance of fighting.
In the end, the Canelo versus Crawford clash is shaping up as one of the most anticipated fights in modern boxing. Canelo's raw strength and experience collide with Crawford's technical brilliance and strategic mind. The boxing world is divided. The opinions are endless, but one thing is certain. When these two step into the ring, fans everywhere will witness a battle that could redefine boxing's pound-for-pound hierarchy.